Hello everyone, my name is Zard and welcome back to another video, and today I'll be talking about episode 4 of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. So I enjoyed the fourth episode. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed the third episode, but I did still really like this episode and I've enjoyed the show. So far, the only thing I want more of is more orc chopped off heads. That's one thing that makes the Battle of the Five Armies my favorite Hobbit film, especially the extended edition, is how many orc chopped off heads there are at the end of the movie. I just absolutely love it, especially when Thranduil shows up. It's a pretty great scene. So, enough about that. This episode, we got more of Elrond and the dwarves, which they weren't in the third episode, but this episode didn't have Nori and the Harfoots and the strangers. So, from the preview for the fifth episode, they will be in the episode again. So we started this episode, I believe it started with seeing the fall of Numenor and Numenor flooding, which I guess we will, well, of course, we'll see it sometime in the series. I don't know if it's going to be the end of the first season, into the second season. I don't know when we're going to expect to see the fall of Numenor and its flooding and all of that. Given that we're at the fourth episode now, and the fifth episode, I'm assuming, is going to be focusing on Galadriel helping to train the Numenorians to go to Middle-earth, as well as to convince Halbrand to go to Middle-earth as well. So, I forget how many episodes there are of the series, or the first season. I believe it's 8 or 9. So, given that we're not going to see it in the fifth episode, there's only 3-4 more episodes left. I don't know if the fall of Numenor will happen in the first season, and it seems extremely early to do it anyways, but of course that is something that will happen, and we saw a bit of that in this episode. I liked the characters of Isildur, Elendil. I liked all of them. Durin and Elrond, Indisa, I believe is her name. Just that whole thing in Khazad-dûm. I really enjoy the dwarves. I always have. And I really like relationships between elves and dwarves. We had that with Legolas as well as Gimli, which is probably one of my favorite things in all of Lord of the Rings. And then in this show, of course, we have the friendship between Durin and Elrond, but of course it seems like both Durins don't entirely trust Elrond. Maybe, I'm not 100% sure on that, but Elrond and Durin, I'm assuming next episode, if not next episode, the episode after that, are going to Lindon. We also got to see Adar this episode, who I believe would be under Sauron, but all the orcs seem to look up at him, and his goal right now seems to be to get the hilt of the sword, the blade, I don't know, the one that Theo has, that seems to grow with blood, and then it just falls back, which is explains something, because I really wasn't sure how Theo somehow snuck a full sword into his bag or under his outfit or whatever it was, I believe in the second or third episode, when it had grown the first time. But I enjoyed this episode. For Lego sets, there's not much new things that I would say that I'd like to see made in Lego if the Rings of Power was to ever get sets, and that would mean the Lord of the Rings theme returns, which is something I would like so much. And maybe in the coming years, when I'm assuming that Harry Potter will end, because as much as I love the theme very much, I feel that it's starting to come to its end. I feel after the summer wave, when we hopefully get a few more Deathly Hallows sets and we can sort of close book, I guess you could say, on the Harry Potter theme. If we get a courtyard battle, Gringotts, a few other Deathly Hallows sets, and then a few Hogwarts sets sprinkled in there, I really think in the coming 1 or 2 years, Harry Potter can end pretty strongly if we finish the story with Deathly Hallows, and then Lord of the Rings could maybe come and replace it in its spot, a new licensed film, book, theme where we could see some Lord of the Rings Hobbit sets and maybe a couple of Rings of Power sets while the series is coming out. So I am enjoying the show so far. Yesterday I rewatched the 3 episodes with my dad. I had watched them, of course, because I've been talking about them the last couple weeks. But he hadn't, and we've always watched the Lord of the Rings films together. That's when I was first introduced into the world, was with the Hobbit films, and we went to those movies. So it was fun watching those and seeing another view on the show. He enjoyed it, so I've enjoyed it as well. I'm interested to see what goes on in the show. I'm really interested to see who the stranger is. Because, I don't know, the title stranger, it has to be someone, I would guess. So I don't think Sauron, because we've kind of seen in the trailers someone with very short blonde hair and those white robes. That's who I'm sort of guessing is Sauron, and then Adar would be below him. So I'm guessing we'll see that in one of the last few episodes. And yeah, I'm excited to see where the series goes. I enjoyed the 4th episode. And yeah, I hope you did as well. And I'll see you in the next video or the next week when I talk about episode 5 of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.